Hey everybody, it's Lori. I hope you're doing well and making it through the quarantine if you're in an area that has it. I know that in our area we are under what they're calling self-isolation, and so they're asking people to kind of remain in their homes and away from people. There's a lot of businesses that are still open and restaurants that are open drive-through only, but we're kind of like you probably and doing things differently right now. And today I had to go pick up a pupa, which is a monarch butterfly pupa that we got from a place that's near us. It's called Butterfly World, and we live right near the butterfly capital of the world. And so as now that I'm suddenly a homeschool mom because my daughter's school is closed for the next month, sorry, I got cut off, and it's super windy. So we have great skies, but if you hear that noise, it's because it's so breezy today. But we picked up this pupa and we started studying today about butterflies and looking at the transformation that is going to happen with this little friend. And we just forgot that we had just recently planted some tropical milkweed here in South Florida. And so my daughter Ashley and I went out to go check and to see what was happening with the tropical milkweed, and we found all sorts of caterpillars there. And I'll flip the camera around in a minute and show you, but it just reminded me about the transformation that God makes in our lives and how different this butterfly process is going to be. From the where it starts is just a seed that's laid on a leaf by a mature butterfly to where it's going to end up as it'll go through a process to be a caterpillar and become a it goes through that process to change into a butterfly, the different things that happen along the way that are supposed to happen that way. And it reminded me of the verse, let me read it to you, Romans 12:2, that says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." And we're supposed to be transformed. And I know right now, if you're like me, you're in an unsettled stage of life and you're asking God, why does this virus have to do this to so many people? And why do we have to go through the things that we're going through because of this virus? Or being lonely because you're maybe isolating by yourself. And so I just want to encourage you to really ask God to show you how he can transform you through this process. And next week we have some devotionals coming out. I know Tuesday, and I think there's one other one, and we talk about journaling in there. And while you're home right now, while things are kind of quiet for you, I would just challenge you to really take time to journal and to talk to God and ask him to speak to you, and use those journals and that time alone with him to just reflect. And 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, you can go back and see what God did through your life during this time of quiet and stillness. So let me show you now what is happening with the caterpillars, with the pupas, and our little science project for today, because I think some of you might think that's fun. Okay, so here's our little tropical milkweed. Now this is what we picked up today, and it's going to be a monarch butterfly, and this came from Butterfly World, which is by us. And you can see that this pupa that's in here is ready to go, and it's going to develop into a butterfly. And here are some of the caterpillars that are just munching away happily on these plants. And they're that is, I think, our biggest one right there. But there's a lot of little babies that are here. Let's see if I can find another one. There's another little guy, and there's some that are even smaller than that. There's a teeny tiny one if the camera will focus. So anyhow, that's what we're doing. That's our fun that is happening here. We're going to watch it, and I'll share it with you. And it's these guys are going to transform, but I can't wait to see how God transforms you through this, and me as well.